Welcome to Conversations with Cousin Keith. This is where myself picks a leading figure, an African-American male, a leading figure in the communities throughout the United States of America, and where we just have one-on-one conversation about real-life issues. These are successful men, men who are pastors. That's who our guest is today. Men who are school teachers, foremen, post office workers, security guards, average Joes, because as we know, a lot of times our athletes, they get all of the attention, or entertainers. But I think there are everyday guys that are just getting up, putting their pants on just like the rest of us, taking care of their families and taking care of their business. Today, I have a very, very special guest. I've got to know this gentleman over the last couple of years here where we live. He's doing some wonderful things in the community. He's one of those gentlemen that when he talks about it, you better hold on to him, because in 48 hours, he's going to be about it. So today as my guest, I have Pastor Greg Tatum. What's going on, brother?
Thank you, Brother Keith, for having me, man. You're giving me too many accolades. I got to go get some Kool-Aid behind that.
Now you got to be about it now. No, brother, you've always been about it, Doc. That's what I appreciate about you, Greg. You know, we'll have a conversation, we'll have a discussion, and before I know it, you on it. So I appreciate the way you execute. I mean, that's honorable. That's very, very honorable, my good friend. So today, tell the listening audience just a little bit about you, Pastor Tatum.
Okay. Thank you, Brother Keith, for this opportunity. Well, not from Bakersfield, not from California. I was born in Memphis, Tennessee, and we migrated from there, say, like in 1960 to Chicago, Illinois. Lived in a very bad part of Chicago. It was called the Cabrini Green Projects. Many of you might know from watching Good Times, we actually lived in a facsimile of what that is, but I think it was worse on the north side of Chicago. And fast forwarding to 1970, we was able to move to California, to a better atmosphere, not tranquil, but was near tranquil. We moved to Compton, California. So tongue in cheek, we stayed there. I attended, junior high school, and met my high school sweetheart. We got married in 1978, so this year we'll be married 42 years, Brother Keith. Three kids, 2 sons and a daughter, and 9 grandkids, 8 boys out of 9. So in 2009, we were invited by Southern Baptist Convention to do a church plant. Me and my wife came out in 2009, and around about November of 2009, we were asked to pastor a church right off of Martin Luther King, and we ended up on the east side of Bakersfield. And there's my story in beginning in working in Bakersfield with Current in Action, street safety police situation, with the collaborative of various different organizations. It's called Operation Safe Streets. And then 2016 ran for mayor, and out of 25 people I placed 6. And then I ran for state Senate for California 16th District against Shannon Grove. I was able to acquire about 18,000 votes. And this year, in March, ran for mayor, second time, placed 2nd out of 5 behind Karen Go. And now I'm currently running for the 6th District Ward for City Council. And the incumbent, which is not coming back, Jackie Sullivan, is giving up the seat after 25 years. So there you have it.
Well, I want to go back a little bit on something that you said earlier, that you married your high school sweetheart. You've been married for 42 years. And a lot of our listening audience, we're married men or thinking about being married, or even may have been divorced. What has been your secret to stay married for that long?
Just be quiet and do what she tell you to do, man. You're going to make it, bro. You will make it. Trust me, brother. Happy wife, happy life. No, well, in all honesty, trusting in God, and both of us have faith in God, so we have to allow Him to work out and tweak us. We need to be tweaked every now and then, Brother Keith.
When you say tweaked, can you tell the audience what do you mean by tweaked?
Okay, you might be working, and I don't want to use metaphors like we're machines, but just say you're working on your yard, you can cut your yard, and lawnmower keep cutting off. So you got to go prime it again. You got to tweak it so the carburetor, make sure you get enough gas. so we can have a flow. So sometimes we get lax in our duties to our families. You know, we take it for granted where we used to, go get our wife some coffee. You go, go get it yourself. So that's a tweaking moment, you know. Back it up. Go get your honey some coffee, you know, and then her tweaking moment is, look, go get your frozen TV dinner and stuff. You know, you ain't getting a hot meal today, you know. So I'm talking about little subtle tweaks.
Right. Okay, you know, it's true. It does take two. You're absolutely correct. Hey, okay. Hey, another question for you. I've got to know you a little well. You said you were in the military. Tell us about your service to our country.
Yeah, Brother Keith. 1989, I enlisted in the U.S. Army. I was stationed in Fort Bliss, Texas. And then when I got my deployment papers September of 1989, I was shipped off to West Germany. And ironically, when I was there, after President Reagan had told Mr. Gorbachev to tear down these walls, that came to fruition while I was in Germany in 1989. The Berlin Wall did come down. I was part of a unique unit called the Patriot Missile Unit, which is an intelligence unit which intercepts missiles, Scud missiles, and deflects them. During the Persian Gulf War, our unit was able to deflect Scud missiles that Saddam was trying to deliberately send over to Israel to start a holy war. And you remember at the time he had Colin Powell that was calling Coalition of the Willing, because Saddam had gone into Kuwait to extract gold and to take whatever minerals they had, and then that brought on that coalition of the Willing, Colin Powell, and many others. Schwarzkopf, under the Bush administration Bush 1 was over that situation.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, because I know you have a diverse background. Again, we appreciate your service to this country. And you said you have how many children, Greg?
Okay, we have 3 children. We have 2 adult young men and 1 daughter. But the kicker is we have 9 grandkids. And out of the 9 grandkids, we have 8 boys and 1 granddaughter.
Wow, beautiful family, man. All right, I'm going to ask you, as an African-American father, what were some of the principles that you instilled in your children?
Well, like I said, me and my wife coming from both strong families that stress integrity, hardworking, staying in school, being honest, you know, and not taking advantage of anything, the system, or however you want to phrase it. And we pretty much passed that on to our generation. We matriculated that on down to them by telling them, you know, this is the consequences. If you do this, this would happen. You will end up here or there.
You know, I'm noticing that there's been a kind of a decline in our country about some of those principles or values that you've mentioned. What can we do, again, as everyday guys, as everyday men, to instill those principles into the world in which we find ourselves?
Well, sorry for the gap, but one of the things we got to do, Brother Keith, and they say it's statistically that in especially African-American homes, they're missing about 70% of the fathers. And we have to step up and be more mentors, whether it's a pastor or whether it's people like yourself that's involved in the school district, or it could be a local deacon, or it could be an uncle or grandfather, because without that family structure, it's hard to get people, especially young men, to understand what respect is. And you just take, for example, if 70% of homes are ran by women that are struggling without male figures, that young man won't know how to respect the male because he don't see one on a daily basis, or he may just be around Big Mama, or the mother might be bringing different men in and out of his life, and that, you know, may refer to him as uncle or whatever they call him to camouflage the real, you know, deal. So I think we got to start building back the family. A lot of people don't want to hear what I'm about to say, but they started attacking us way back in the early 50s. Even with Planned Parenthood going to the churches, trying to get the pastors to pass this message on about, you know, control your kids by not having kids. And now you're behind as far as the numbers, behind other minorities that's affected us. We just had the census. Then when you go into the abortion mode, I think they have killed over 22 million young men or women, whatever the sector would have been, that could have been a great contribution to our nation. But I think that's the trick that begins to make us seem less valued. And then fast forward to where we're dealing with the Black Lives Matter situation. Because of the devaluing of who we are, a lot of people didn't feel that we mattered. To us as African Americans, we always mattered. It wasn't a question of Black Lives Matter. We always mattered. And I think so. We need to start raising up more mentors. You got 100 black men. You got a lot of organizations out there. By me running for mayor, running for state senate, running for the city council, it is showing young black men that can aspire to be something. And I did the debate for the 6th district for the city council. My grandson was there. He'll be turning 12 years old, and he's like an A student in his school. He's a quarterback in football, and he was really inspired by watching his grandfather. And see, that's another thing people don't understand. When you see people like yourself, Keith, me, others that aspire to do something in leadership, that pushes other young black men and women that want to be something. They don't think that's important when we run against our opponent. They think, oh, well, this is just a person trying to be in office. No, we're building leadership. We're building confidence in our community, because as we go forward, then they want to go forward. And then, even after this, I want to start a school of politics, teaching them how to actually campaign, teach them how to work on a shoestring budget. When I ran against for the state senate for 2018, my opponent had $1 million in the war chest. $1 million. I had less than 2,000. When I ran for mayor in 2016, 25 people ran, Brother Keith. Some spent $500,000, $100,000. Out of 25 people, I placed 6. I spent less than $1,500. Learning to work and trusting God, man. And that's what we're doing here, yourself and others. We're trying to raise up young entrepreneurs, African-American women and men.
Wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm speaking with my dear friend, Pastor Gregory Tatum here. We're just having some general conversation just about life. He's been from Cabrini Greens in Chicago. He's lived in Compton. He's moved up to here, Kern County, California. He's ran for political office, and he is a pastor of a church. So the brother has a very diverse and varied background, successfully married for over 40 years, with 3 children and 9 grandchildren. Brother, you have a full life, and we're just so very, very proud of you for the example that you are setting here in our community and the nation abroad. So, we're going to get ready to wrap up here, but what advice would you give a listener or a brother right now who may be struggling either in his job, maybe struggling in his finances, maybe struggling in his relationships? What advice would you give him if you were to have a cup of coffee or a glass of iced tea with this brother?
First of all, Brother Keith, I'd tell him that don't believe the narrative about who they say you are or even who you think you are. Believe what God say who you are. Before you were born, I knew you in Jeremiah. So God knows your potential, your capabilities, So you have to step away from what people are saying about you and see what God is saying about you. And once you realize who you are, we all have a purpose. Even before I started running for office in 2016, I was told by someone in 2011 that I was going to be in politics, that I was going to be seen on TV. So I took that and ran with it. So my advice to you, whatever good words someone's spoken to your life, whatever you heard from the Lord, believe that and trust that. And sometimes you can't release all the information about who you are or what you're about to be, because the people around you that are jealous, they're going to make sure they're going to suppress you, oppress you. It's like when I was talking on the debate. When I was running the race, I'm here at an event, all African-American event, Black City Commerce, and predominantly event for African-Americans. We had a lot of politicians there, and I was not even allowed to announce my candidacy at an African-American event. And we had Matthew Knowles, which is Beyonce Knowles' daddy. He said he's never done it before. He said, I want to talk about civil rights, what he had to deal with as growing up as African-American. He changed the whole story around. I said, thank you, God, for him doing that instead of talking about Beyonce and her business. So these are real struggles. Everybody has to deal with them. So my advice is do not accept that just step out, just like my brother Bob Smith did with the BET. Borrowed from his boss, sold it for $500,000, sold it for $3 billion or more, from what I hear. The Johnson brothers starting Essence magazines, Jet magazine. Just believe that you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. So don't accept the narrative. We never had this nationality in this war before. We never had an African American man. Don't believe it. Just believe God and just trust God and keep going.
Man, that's a wonderful word of encouragement, brother. And again, we all need to hear it. You've been encouraging and a light and a beacon and an example in my life, and I want to say thank you for your courage and your friendship. Ladies and gentlemen, we've had just a little brief conversation with my man, Pastor Gregory Tatum. He just so happens to be running for city council here in the city of Bakersfield. Real quick, Greg, because, you're running for office. Tell the listeners that may be listening here in Kern County or Bakersfield why they should vote for you. Real quick.
Out of all the 4 candidates for the Ward 6, District 6, Jackie Sullivan's old district, I'm the only veteran that is on this ticket. I'm the only community person that worked with the police and worked with the community. Every last one of them have not done those 2 things, at least.
All right, that's it. He says he's a veteran, and he's currently working with feet on the ground. That's what I hear you saying. You're putting feet to the street. So, all right, for those of you that will be voting, that's his reason why, ladies and gentlemen, why we should choose him to represent us. Well, Brother Greg, thank you so much for coming on the show. Again, we're just highlighting, as Sly and the Family Stone said, everyday people. Everyday people, because we are a good people. We are a wonderful people. We just need to support and highlight each other. So that's what this forum is about. Well, if you like this show of Conversations with Cousin Keith, I ask that you would subscribe. We're on Spotify, Google, we're on Apple, we're on iTunes, we're on all of the platforms. If you like this, please share it, ladies and gentlemen. And if you have an idea, please IG me so that if you want to be on the show or you think there's somebody we should reach out to, please don't hesitate. And until we talk again, this is your cousin Keith saying God bless and continue to be all that he's called you to be. Bye for now.